Incident.
All right. In August 2021, Bloomberg was contacted by someone claiming to be a member of the hacktivist collective APT 69420 Arson Cats. And they said for the past 36 hours, they had access to the security camera company Verkada and were able to watch the feeds of more than 150,000 clients, including hospitals, prisons, police departments, schools, factories, bars, warehouses, like so much shit. And they're like, why? To show the world how much surveillance it was under and how easy it was to take control of that surveillance. They sent receipts for this too. So Bloomberg watched a video of a patient in a Florida hospital being tackled by staffers. They saw workers on an assembly line in a Tesla warehouse in Shanghai, then a Massachusetts police station interrogation. The spokesperson for Arson Cats, then going by Tilly Cotman, said they gotten root on these cameras, but they didn't have to be super sophisticated to get there. It was a feature available on the camera, which they were easily able to get access to after they found the credentials for a super admin account on the internet. They told Bloomberg that they saw into multiple locations at the Gem Equinox, the ICU of a hospital in Texarkana, and security cameras of a hospital in Arizona. They had access to cameras in Cloudflare offices. And they're from Switzerland, so I'm not going to do that accidentally. I'm going to spare that one. So the hack exposes just how broadly we're being surveilled. Because this is the actual attacker is calling the news to tell them, I'm just done this, right?
Right, yeah.
And so that this is why they were doing it, because we want to expose just how broadly we're being surveilled and how little care is put into at least securing the platforms used to do so, pursuing nothing but profit. It's just how wild how I can just see the things we always knew were happening, but we never got to see. They said they got the Verkada customer list and the balance sheet, which held assets and liabilities. They found videos from the 17 cameras inside Arizona's Graham County Detention Center, which the staff had given titles like Roundhouse Kick Oopsie, Autumn Bumps His Own Head, which was from the drunk tank, and Stare Off, Don't Blink. After Bloomberg reached out to Verkada, the attackers lost their access as Verkada disabled all those administrative accounts. But what is done cannot be undone, and soon the videos and the customer info would be all over Twitter. All the tweets associated with the hack contained the, speaking of hashtags, hashtag Operation Panopticon, which is a reference of a panopticon, which is a prison architecture that basically allows the supervisors to have full view of the inmates. So like they can always, so basically you're always being watched, right?
It's also a goth club in Dallas.
Yeah, I also think that's how the Dallas jail is. Anyways, so there would be fallouts and indictments and fines, but would the right lessons be learned? And I'm so sorry for all my IR peeps for that joke, and they know why that's bad. So, all right. So first off, who is Verkada? So Verkada is do you remember this at all? This is 2021. Okay. So they are a physical security company, mainly known for enterprise video security. They were founded in California by Stanford Tech Bros in 2016. Their cameras are also really big on facial recognition. They can do not only facial recognition, they can recognize people by like gender, clothes, other attributes. Not all their cameras use that, but that's just they kind of keep in mind. So COVID was really good for this company as companies wanted to monitor everything remotely. Right. And they also offered these free surveillance kits, is what they fucking called them, to businesses and healthcare institutions so they could help to remotely monitor high-risk locations. It added features to let customers detect when crowds are forming and to identify high traffic areas that might need more cleaning. All right. They also created a line of environmental sensors for companies, including things like detecting vaping. So like lots of schools use them to be like, see if people are vaping in the bathroom or in the classroom, because apparently kids just vape in their classrooms now. They do bad. Yeah. In 2021, this company was accused of creating a frat house work environment, back to our frat houses, with every Silicon Valley tech stereotype possible. They were quoted as saying they hired sales athletes to make the culture really fun for sales. They created a Slack channel called hashtag Raw Verkada Dogs and used company facial recognition software to capture pics of female employees and then denigrate them in the channel. Verkada CEO said 10 employees are part of the channel and that no one was fired, but they did have their stock reduced. The company also made everyone take sexual harassment training over Zoom and established support groups. So that's our company, Verkada.
Is this when we got all the reports saying that Juggalo makeup was not able to be read by facial recognition? Is that what I think that was around this time I started seeing that claim floated.
Been proven to not be true, but let's try it. Let's see what happens. Let's go rob banks just as Juggalos and see if they recognize us. You can't see me.
I see about this doesn't work.
It doesn't work. All right. So let's talk about our other protagonist in the story. So that is going to be Maia, arson, crimew. So formerly known as Tilly Cotman, but also by the handle Stelitscape, Tilly Crimew, and now her official name, which is, she changed it to this, is Maia Arson Crimew. Crimew is a portmanteau of the words crime and mew, as in the onomatopoeia of a cat's cry, which I do kind of love.
But for funny.
It's pretty good. It's all stylized in lowercase, which was really frustrating at your typing. And she is also born and lives in Lucerne, Switzerland, which is a lovely, gorgeous place. It's stupid nature, gorgeous.
So she just sits out looking at pretty nature, hacking with a silly name.
Yeah. Yes. And she was born in 1999, which is
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. So, but also she sounds like she was a computer prodigy, and she started developing apps as a teenager. In 2020,
apps exist when I was a teenager.
That's right. Apps did not exist when I was a teenager. I could, however, make a dot matrix print out a picture of a flower. And that took me like 7 hours to code. So anyhow, in 2020, they posted a dump of proprietary source code from the exposed repositories of dozens of companies, including Microsoft, Adobe, Lenovo, Qualcomm, Motorola, GE, and Nintendo. This is just all shit. She was just like been collecting this. She's like, I just found all this stuff exposed. You should fix this. This was followed by leaks for Intel that she claims to have gotten from another hacker that she was just posting for them. She may or may not have been involved in the Nintendo hack. She posted leaks about Nissan in 2021 and had a Telegram channel called X Confidential, where she would post like info with leaks that were done by others. All right. Those are our main characters. So the hack. Seriously, it was just stupid easy. Verkada exposed a development system to the internet that contained hard-coded credentials for an account with super admin rights. When speaking with CBS, crimew told them, we do scans for very broad sectors looking for vulnerabilities. This was easy. We simply use their web app the way any user would, except we have the ability to switch to any user account we desired. We did not access any server. We simply logged into the web UI with a highly privileged user account. And they also made it clear they weren't motivated by money. APT 694020, that's a joke, by the way, because all the hacking groups get called APT, Advanced Persistent Threats, and they get numbers on them, and Mandiant has different numbers, blah, blah, blah. So they made up their own. So they're 69420, APT 694020. Yeah. So APT 69420 is not backed by any nations or corporations, backed by nothing but being gay, fun, and anarchy. So this super admin account that they found was reported to be used by product and engineering teams along with company executives to view footage for troubleshooting and improvement purposes. But the customers were not made aware that they had access to this. Oh,
that's a problem.
Yeah, problematic. Bloomberg reported over 100 employees had access to this account, and sources told IPVM, we literally had 20-year-old interns that had access to over 100,000 cameras and can view all of their feeds globally. And, quote, Leadership at Verkada gives zero shits about security. There are talking points for sales, but none of it is actually real. The approach is just to win the deal and do the bare minimum. I think Hans, co-founder, thought it wasn't necessary and that the company would generate money without strict security infrastructure, so why spend engineering resources on it? To him, the breach of customer privacy was a nuisance and nothing more. So they said, no. Yeah.
I forgot about that. I remember some of this now, more of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
And now that you're hearing it, yeah.
like that part, I was like, oh, that's right. And they just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. So Verkada was informed of the breach on March 9th. So crimew calls Bloomberg, tells them, I've had access to this for the past 2 days. This is all the stuff, is the things, these are the things I've taken, look at them, blah, blah, blah. Verkada,
Here's my credentials.
yeah. Bloomberg then calls Verkada to be like, hey, we're getting you calling to confirm this. And they're like, what? And they're like, oh,
Oops.
okay. So they brought in the lawyers, Perkins Coie, and who brought in the forensic investigation firm, Mandiant, that I may or may not have worked for, not at this time. I did check the dates. I was not working for them at this time.
Yeah.
So after the investigation, Verkada issued a security incident report. I'm so glad I didn't have to write this for them. So the attacker compromised Verkada's platform and accessed customer data, including video for a subset of Verkada customers. In all, 97 customers had their cameras accessed and video or image data viewed. 8 of these customers had access control product data accessed, including badge credentials. Separately, 8 customers had their Wi-Fi credentials accessed. No cameras were viewed for more than 90 minutes, and in the worst case estimate, cameras were viewed for an average of 11 minutes and a medium time of 4 minutes. It is not known exactly how much live video was accessed due to limited information in log files. The attackers created 6 video archives on the Verkada platform and accessed 87 video archives. 15 people analytic searches for images of persons were performed in 5 organizations. Those are facial rec, I believe. And the search results in 4 of those organizations may have returned blah, blah, blah. So that's pretty much it, though, right? And so they revoked her credentials, the world's dumbest credentials that ever existed, and their access was revoked, right? So hack is done, right? So, but as soon as the access was revoked, that's when they started dumping everything on Twitter. Eventually, those Twitter takes down her. She gets disabled because it's bad. It's probably not anymore. But at one point, it was against Twitter's code of conduct to post hacks on there. I'm sure it's fine now. But yeah, so yeah. You never know. So when she got taken down, then somebody else picked up her stuff and posted it. So the stuff is still out there. It's like Dean learns, stuff cannot be deleted from the internet, right? So on March 2021, crimew was indicted by a grand jury because she hi, it's me. I hacked them. Hello, me and my group, Arson Cats. Meow. They were indicted by a grand jury in the United States District Court for the Western District of Washington on charges related to several hacks she allegedly carried out between 2019 and 2021. So the feds went after them for a bunch of stuff, including illegally accessing computers belonging to a security device manufacturer located in the Western District of Washington and stealing proprietary data, improperly using the credentials of employee of a manufacturer of tactical equipment, and access a manufacturer source code databases, hacked a Washington state agency and a U.S. government contractor and stole source code related to various web applications, attacked an automobile manufacturer and a financial investment company, and my favorite charge, obtained financial benefit by designing and selling clothing and paraphernalia related to computer hacking activity and anti-intellectual property ideology. Merch. She got charged for merch, for making hacking merch. And I was very sad the merch store is down. And I really wanted to see what the merch was, what it was offered, and I cannot find it.
I bet it involved cats. I'm sorry.
I bet it does. So I guess her webpage, which is everyone's crimew.gay or something like that. I don't know, it's so great. It is just it's bright pink and like it's where her blogs are, and it has little Nyan cats that runs all over it. It's just delightful. She's also a DJ, and like she's just I like crimew. So crimew's apartment and her parents' home were searched, and several devices were confiscated. Again, loose hair, right? So she is indicted in the Western District of Washington, but she's in Switzerland. Right. So Lucerne police work with the feds, and they go and they search her apartment and they search her parents' house. They confiscate several devices. The people start rallying behind her. What's the hashtag? What do you think the hashtag is?
Oh, no. I don't know.
Okay. So, but before she changed her name, it was Tilly Hawk. Her name was Tilly. Yeah. Free Tilly.
Free Tilly.
I liked it. Sorry. So the proceedings of the indictment were suspended as they didn't want to do the case without crimew being present and being represented by a lawyer. Her lawyer, Bromako, says that Swiss extradition law does not allow extradition of citizens without their consent.
Huh.
So that's our extradition treaty with them, which I think is, so I guess, why would I consent to that?
I know.
Who says yes? So
I mean, I guess the argument is that you can't leave Switzerland then, probably.
Right. Or
it limits your movements.
But also,
if you don't want to leave Switzerland, then.
But you could also be tried in Switzerland. So that is, if you will say, I won't go to the U.S., you can be tried. If there's sufficient suspicion and evidence, they can be tried in Switzerland. And if she was tried in Switzerland, she would face a maximum of 4.5 years prison. And I'm also betting a Switzerland prison's probably a fucking choice. I probably want to go hang out one. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not.
Can I just like rent a room?
Yeah. So in September 2021, crimew told Knoll 41 that she was certain she would never be able to travel to certain countries again. And that even if she was able to travel in the future, it would be risky because of the possibility of extradition from other countries.
Yeah.
So she just continues on with her life, DJing, doing her thing. And in 2023, she got access to the U.S. government's no-fly list via an unsecured AWS cloud server where this really, airplane is doing terrible security. But she announced the news with her Pokemon plushie Sprigatito, and that just created instant meme. So it's just like this Pokemon like exposing like all of like, this is the no-fly list. So
that's fine. I remember that.
Yeah. So she also worked with journalist Ryan Fay to unveil the true identity of one of the alleged Elon Musk alternative accounts, and there was a huge kerfuffle about that. But overall, she just seems to be living her best life with the little pink blogs and stuff. Now, Verkada, well, they're still a company, and after a $200 million Series E, they were valued at $4.5 billion. But, at least they got a slap on the wrist for this. They agreed with a $2.95 million settlement with the FTC. They refused to call it a fine. They call it a settlement. And after the FTC found that they failed to use basic security measures like complex passwords and encryption to protect customers' personal and sensitive data, misrepresented how secure the product was with reviews submitted by investors, by claiming to use best-in-class data security tools and best practices to protect customer data, Verkada was deceptive and did not represent the truth. Verkada's claims about its products being compliant with HIPAA and the EU, US, Swiss, US privacy frameworks were also false and misleading, and they violated the CAN-SPAM Act by flooding prospective customers with a barrage of commercial emails and failing to include the option to unsubscribe or opt out, or to honor opt-out requests and provide a physical postal address in the emails.
Damn.
But honestly, I think that's really interesting.
Just running bad business, you also have bad advertising practices.
Yeah, they seriously went hard after them for marketing, and then also just there were other security incidents that happened over the past couple of years too that they brought up in this case. It wasn't just this exposure. In addition to the settlement, Verkada must develop and implement a comprehensive security program according to which its own IT team and independent third parties will conduct regular security assessments, implement and test safeguards, and organize employee training on data security. Also, for the next 20 years, every cybersecurity incident at Verkada must be reported to the FTC within 10 days.
Damn.
Which is then that's all becomes a very frustrating thing and is in response land, because when does like the security incident start, right? Is it so Samuel Levine, director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection, was quoted in securityinfowatch.com as saying, when customers invite companies into private spaces to monitor consumers by using their security cameras and other products, they expect those companies to provide basic levels of security, which Verkada failed to do. Companies that fail to secure and protect customer data can't expect to be held responsible. The settlement underscores the importance of robust data security measures, especially for companies that are themselves in the security industry. Failure to protect sensitive information puts consumers at risk, said Brian N. Boynton, Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General of the Department of Justice's Civil Division. We will continue to work with the FTC to hold companies accountable for such violations. Like, none of those work there anymore. But as of last year, Verkada, though, then just said, we don't agree with the FTC's allegations, but we are just settling this to move forward. Isn't it crazy? But that was also that was only 4 years ago. It seems like a lifetime ago.
Oh, man.
The ghost is in the machine and it's watching you pee.
Yeah. Ew. No.
Sorry.
It's like, yeah, it is. No, wait. No.
Damn pervy ghost watching me pee.
Well, you perv ghost.
combination